Hello and welcome to the stream, the Sunday evening stream. So, I'll say this like I usually say. If you are watching this video back before, it's because I upload these streams to my channels. After I'm finished with them, I do this every Sunday at 7 o'clock. And it allows me to talk with my viewers and just get a good idea of the community and interact with them a little bit more. And yeah, I do this every Sunday, so if you're tuning in later, make sure to stop by the next Sunday and we'll be live. So, looks like we got 2 viewers here. Hey Homestead, hey, how's it going? It's looking a little empty tonight, but maybe some people will drop in as we stream here. No, FT8's not the prettiest thing. I've got the Twitter up here too. So, yeah, FT8 can be a little dry sometimes, but it's a lot easier for me to talk with the viewers and do FT8 than solder and do do voice. But I've got a few announcements. Maybe when some more people pop in here. 5 viewers, welcome, welcome, welcome. Some people are kind of drifting in here, or maybe it might be delayed. But welcome to the stream. We're just doing a little FT8. If you are so inclined and would like to make a contact with me, you're more than welcome. I will say I've been getting a lot of QSL cards from these Sunday streams, and I hadn't had QSL cards on hand. So I ordered some a few days ago, and I got a stack. So all those people that have sent me QSL cards, you will be getting QSL cards. Yes, I am using the Easy Digi. All those people that sent me QSL cards will be receiving some back, hopefully in the next week here. How's it going, Ghost Findings? Welcome to the stream. We're doing a little FT8 tonight. If you have the ability and you would like, we can work each other. But yep, up to 13 viewers. Yep, looks like we got some more people drifting in here. So the reason I'm doing these streams at 7 is because at 6, once I start a job again, I typically get off about 6. So that's not going to give me time to get home and get the stream started. So, but let's see if we can start working a few stations here. And right off. It looks like Costa Rica. We'll see if we get any replies here. If you guys want to work me, just shout your call sign in the chat, and I'll try to pick it up. This is Bobby Little. I've changed my YouTube channel name. It's now Kilo Charlie 5 Tango Golf Tango Radios and More. Just wanted y'all to know it was me. Cool. I have to check out your channel after this too. I didn't know you're a YouTuber. But welcome. So there was what I ended up doing was I actually stuffed as much as I could of the wires into the Easy Digi into the Altoids can I found, and the ones that I couldn't, I literally just wrapped up with aluminum foil, the part that goes to the sound card, to try to protect it from RF interference, and it did help. But I actually, so announcement, since 15 viewers are here. So Off Grid Texas Homestead bought me an Easy Digi. I put it together with some just random stuff I had laying around the house. I didn't really use proper equipment, but he had the idea to reach out to Clifford, or the creator of the Easy Digi, and see if we could get some to give away. So those actually came in the mail today. So I have 6 Easy Digis here, one of which I'm going to use for a YouTube video on soldering and kind of the assembly and how to do it. But the other 5, once I hit 5,000 subscribers, hopefully in about a month and a half, probably, I'm going to be giving away 5 of these on my stream to subscribers, so If you're a new ham or something, you're trying to get into digital modes, or if you were kind of using an interface that wasn't so pleasant like I was, then you can get one of these, and they're pretty fun to make, and it's a cool little project to do, and it's really helpful. So yeah, I'll be doing that at 5,000 subscribers. So I've got them here. And I'm going to, the one that I'm making, I'm going to make it right. So I didn't use shielded cable, and I tore the plug connectors out of an old computer. So I'm going to make it right. I've ordered proper equipment this time, and so I'm going to redo mine and hopefully knock out any issues I had with just tearing parts and using the unshielded wire. But yeah, so that's exciting. I have that little project has got me more into kind of the electronic side of things, so I'm kind of studying that as well. I want to learn a lot more about circuit design and stuff like that, so I'm thinking about taking a class just so I can get a little bit more familiar with it. But let's see if we can work. Africa is one of the continents I need for worked all continents. So I'm just going to shoot my shot and see what happens here. And I have been doing these at an awkward time for the modes, because it's like transitioning between 20 and 40 meters. So I usually bounce back and forth between the two. But I'll be checking PSK Reporter to see how the reception is. I'm gonna really drive this power for Africa, because I really need Africa. It's one of those rare things. I'll try it one more time here and see if he doesn't hear me. But yeah, so normally I'll be returning to my civilian job about the 20th, but I don't think it's happening. I'll try it one more time. But they've actually extended, I think they're going to extend my guard orders until the 31st. So that still gives me a lot more time to work on the YouTube channel. So over the weekend, I've been studying some more video editing techniques and fun stuff to do. So I'm hoping the quality of the videos come out a little better, but I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to be focusing on. Okay, I give up on him. Let's see if we can work it out. Let's see if I can pick a focus for the YouTube channel for a couple weeks. I really want to do the focus on new viewers. I think that's really important. New hams, and I like that type of content. But what's really popular, the videos that I do that get the most traction and get views, are stuff on software-defined radios and tutorials on different radio functions. So those seem to be really popular. So I'm kind of torn. I can make videos for that and get views, but I don't feel like the YouTube algorithm, they're not suggesting my new ham videos to, either they're not suggesting them to new hams, or they're just, new hamsters aren't looking up that type of content. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on there. It's just going to take producing some videos to test the waters and see what's going to work and what's not going to work. Either way, I'm enjoying the YouTube grind here. I guess after 2 weeks, they say it becomes habit, so it's fun. It's fun setting time apart and learning. Not only am I making YouTube videos for other people, I'm learning skills myself for video editing, and it's just fun all around. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to take a break here and see. I'm not getting any replies yet, so I'm going to check PSK reporters. Yeah, I'm sure you can. The YouTube algorithm is a complicated system, and it's really hard to nail down exactly what makes things succeed and what don't. I know sometimes I'll spend all day on a specific video researching and putting all the editing together and making it look great, and then for some reason YouTube will show it to subscribers and the subscribers will watch it, but then it never goes out and shows it to anybody else. So it's kind of funky like that, but I'm going to keep pushing out content, 2 videos a week. And, you know, if one day the YouTube algorithm decides to pick those videos up and show them to people, that's cool. And if it doesn't, I'm having fun doing it. Yeah, it can get a little. That's a conversation I had with my fiance earlier. It can get a little strange, or like difficult trying to determine what to do after you're not motivated anymore, and it's just literally a grind. But I've been tempted sometimes to, well, my signal's getting out there. I've been tempted sometimes to produce more videos a week, but I know that would probably just burn me out, and really I'm just having fun with it, so I'm going to keep it to 2. Anyways, if you're just now tuning in the stream, I do this every Sunday at 7 o'clock, and this is just a way for me to interact with my viewers and my subscribers and just have conversation, and sometimes I'll do some radio stuff in the background and have a little fun. I'm still looking at new ideas that I can do to make it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more entertaining. So if anybody has any suggestions or you want to see anything, be sure to let me know. I got 161K views on some dumb TikTok I made, but I can struggle for hours on YouTube. Yeah, so a month ago, once I started really pushing YouTube, I kind of tried to expand and do as much social media stuff as I could to bring in an audience. And I thought, well, Instagram was fun. I like building the Instagram. Twitter was fun, but I tried to go into TikTok, and I was like, okay, all these young, I hate to say this, it makes me sound super old, but all these young people are like doing stuff on TikTok, and I never really did understand it, so why not? Why don't I just download the app and see what happens? But my videos would get a ton of views. I mean, like, just like that, but I didn't see anything out of it. I didn't get followers. I know I wasn't doing it right. I just don't have the talent to... I don't have the talent to do what it takes to do what they do on TikTok. And let me tell you now, when I search ham radio on TikTok, I saw some of the most cringy stuff I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to be... I hate to say it, I just don't want to be a part of it. It was just... It made me feel... made my hair stand up, some of the stuff I watched. And I just... If I'm going to do it, I don't know how to do it right. If that makes sense. If you got 40 meters, we can move down there. I'm not having any luck. It's funny, I'll work a little FT8 before the stream to make sure everything's running right, and I get replies, and then as soon as I turn the stream on, it just kaploos. Yeah, it takes a special type of person to grow an audience on TikTok, but it is strange how... I don't know how to explain it. I would like to, because I feel like it's a beast to tap into if you do it right. I believe if somebody, like some young person that got on there and did ham radio the right way and just showed all the cool flashy side of things, like satellite communications and the ISS and images and stuff like that, and did it in a fun way, I think they might be successful. But the average TikTok user, whether they're like probably under 18 years old or something, and they're in like school, and the last thing they're looking at when they get on there is ham radio. You know, it just doesn't mix. But I think if somebody did it the right way, they could maybe build an audience. But that person's not me. That person is definitely not me. I can't bring myself to make that type of content. I do have 40, but it'll take me a little while to set up. If you don't have to set it up if you don't have to, but if you do, we can try to work each other. Top stream. How are you doing today, Delta Echo 2, Tango Romeo Foxtrot? Welcome everybody to the stream. If you're new, do this every Sunday at 7. We're just working a little FT8. Well, I wouldn't call it working FT8 right now. I'm blasting my signal out there and I'm not getting much back. I mean, I'm getting out. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe I'm just not hearing. I'm going to go ahead and move down to 40 meters and see what I hear. Let's see. I haven't seen your channel before. Let me pull it up here. Oh, you have a blog. Cool. I'm talking about, by the way, I'm talking to November 0 Sierra Sierra Charlie. You pop in here often. Let me get your name so I can call you by your name. I'm sure you said it. Never been on TikTok, but from what I've heard, it sounds like it's not for me either. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Is it Sterling? Is that how you pronounce your name? That's pretty cool. I thought about starting a blog, but that's a lot for me right now. I'll have to check out that Discord though. Okay, coffee? Like coffee? Yeah, I think if I remember right. Oh, looks like my camera went off. Let's see. Always technical difficulties. There we go. Probably went to sleep. Yeah, I saw you in my streams, and then I saw you in Josh's stream, and I was like, oh, okay, cool beans. You never know, like who's watching. Do you feel like you've had more success with the blog than you have with your videos? I've never tried blogging, but I always thought that it was, for me, it was a little harder to gain an audience because it's really relies. You don't have the help of the YouTube algorithm. You really rely on search engine optimization. All right, so we're not getting out there, but I am going to work some 40 meters and tune my antenna up here and see if we don't have more success here. Oh wait, I don't recognize here what I'm calling. Am I messing somebody's QSO up here? What does it mean if they have their call sign / another call sign? Does that mean I shouldn't be calling them? Oh, he's replying. Maybe it's an event or something like that, contest station. I'm not quite sure. But at least we got a reply as soon as we got to 40 meters. Kind of funny. I might pick a frequency to call CQ on here soon. But yeah, tomorrow's video is just going to be a channel update. And I'm pretty much going to talk about, real quick, exactly what I talked about here, about the giveaway and the QSL cards. Macbeth, Welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I probably drink $20 of coffee a week. I need to slow down, but it's just too good. I can't make it without coffee. Thank you very much for that. But I wrote, millennials are killing ham radio, and I got a ton of response. Really? I bet an article like that or a post like that with that headline is going to draw all kinds of people in. Was it, I'll have to read it. I'm interested now. I'll have to check out your blog here. Actually, I could probably pull it up on Google if it got a lot of responses. But yeah, I thought about starting a blog, but man, that's a lot of work to me. I'd rather just shoot the video, because I don't know, I stress out about like all the little details about, I guess, the advertising part of it, and I feel like that would just consume all of my energy in a blog, because I'd be trying to fine tune everything. Maybe down the road. I am yeah, maybe down the road. I'm loving YouTube right now though. I like all the support that I get. Oh. I like all the support I get. I've made a few YouTube channels in the past over different subjects like programming and stuff like that, and it never got the response that I've gotten with ham radio, and that's the reason I keep doing it, because it's a really great community and I enjoy it thoroughly. I will say though, I find myself not turning on the radio as much if I'm not doing a video or on stream. Oh, he did reply. Oh wait, I wasn't paying attention here. What's going on? Yeah, I would imagine it does save a lot of headache. It looks like you got quite a bit of posts on here. Interesting. Cool. Cool. So looks like we got a contact there. I'm never sure which ones are from you all or which ones are random people, but I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. There's birds like nesting in my wall. And they're like, it sounds like they're about to come through. We have a panel on the side of our apartment that got ripped open and birds are flying into it. We've reported it to the apartment managers, but they haven't done anything about it. But it sounds every day. It sounds like it's getting closer. I'm just waiting for them to bust through the wall. Just waiting for it. Hopefully it'll happen on stream. But that sounded wild. I don't know if you all could hear it, but they're just pecking at the wood. It sounds like they're just about to come through. But still, 2 more states to go. Worked all states. I'm waiting for Alaska and Nebraska. I don't know what the deal is with Nebraska. Alaska, I just I'm not getting it on FT8. The way my antenna is angled, I shoot overseas. That was an easy contact. I shoot overseas over the Atlantic, and I get over here in Europe. I got my first DX QSL card. Usually the people just online plug it online, and that might have been with one of you all. Let's see. Zero November 3 Echo Alpha from Belgium. That was my first DX QSL card. It's always been online before, so that was kind of cool. But I do have the QSL card to mail out, so if you haven't made a contact with me over the past 3 or 4 weeks here, you'll be getting a card in the mail. If you all want to see them, I'll show them on the video tomorrow, but it's simple. I got it from Cheap QSL. So it's got the circuit board layout. Nothing fancy. But before I was trying to make my own, so I went into Photoshop and took a picture, and it was full color, and I would get it printed at Office Depot, and that was too expensive. It was too expensive. I made like 20 for the price that I got of 100 of these. They looked really cool, but I just can't afford to send that much money out. But yeah, coming up on 5,000 subscribers. Once I started doing all these videos, like twice a week in the live streams and promoting, my subscriber count's going up about 550 a month, up from 200. So the grind is paying off. But once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll give away. I mean, it's not much. Those easy digis are like $10 a piece, but it might help somebody out. And for me, I think it's kind of got me into electronics, because before I wasn't very confident in my ability to solder or really know what to do with that stuff. But it kind of showed me that it's not so bad. So there's a course on Udemy that I might take about electronic circuit design. I think that would be something I'd be interested in, and if a radio ever bit the dust, I might be able to go in and do something with it. So thinking about doing that, and honestly, I'm really glad that my orders were extended until the 31st with the guard, because to be honest, I've got so much more free time than with my civilian job. We go into the food bank, and pretty much we do a variety of things. We either sort food into categories, or we box it up so it can be picked up by people. But once the job's done, we go home. Sometimes it's like 9 to 4, and some days we get days off because they're out of food. So I'm really enjoying it. I hate the situation. I do hate the situation. And I know it's been really hard for some people, but I think for a lot of people, there's a brighter side to it. For me, I used to be a workaholic. I would work sometimes. I think last year at one point I had like 3-4 different jobs that I was working, and it was constant. And I haven't had time off work in years, like constantly. Is that one of you all there? Victor Alpha 2 Yankee Zulu X-Ray. I haven't had time off work in years. I never did that. And the first week of this pandemic thing, it was my first week off work, and I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun just not going into work. It was really strange for me. And I think a lot of people are like that. People that have had like savings built up and money set to the side. And there's a brighter side to it. I've been able to sit back and focus on my hobbies like this, like my YouTube. I've been able to sit and study a lot of things I wouldn't have normally, and it's been really nice for me. But I know a lot of people are not having such a good time. People that are out of work and don't have the money, and the people that are dealing with the virus itself. So that part is unfortunate. But it is what it is. I think this thing's about to, hopefully it's going to blow over here soon. I don't think anybody really knows. But I don't know about other states. Here in Kentucky, they're opening retail on the 20th. And restaurants, I think, are open on the 27th. So I guess we'll see at that point how things go and all that good stuff. Anyways, that's enough talk about that. 17 viewers, if you're new to the stream, welcome. I do this every Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and we pretty much just chat. I do a little radio stuff in the background, and if anybody wants to talk or have any questions or any feedback on the channel, everybody's welcome to it. But speaking of coffee funds, it's time to go refill my cup. So I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back, almost. Got a fresh cup of coffee. And we're going to see if we can make some more contacts. It looks like we are having more, oh shoot. I left my transmitter for FT8 running. But it looks like we're having a little more success on 40 meters, but I'm going to check the reception report here and see what it's looking like over there. So let's see, 40 meters. That's kind of funny. Nice little blank space there, but alright, this guy's a neighbor. Looks like Georgia, Kentucky to Georgia, we'll see. The way my antenna's angled, it's awfully close to the ground. Sometimes I don't have much luck getting around me, but we'll see. That's funny, I'm just not getting anything from northwestern United States at all. So I'll try him again. Coming up on the viewers, coming up to 21 viewers, so if you're new to the stream, welcome. I know I said this again, but we do this every Sunday at 7 o'clock. Pretty much just here to chat. If everybody's welcome. If you have feedback on the channel or got any questions, be sure to just shoot it in the chat. At this point, let's see. That's odd. I'm gonna let that refresh here for a second. But yeah, feel free to chat, everybody. At this point, I don't have enough viewers to not answer everybody, so pretty much read everything. Let's see, I haven't worked him yet. Oh, got some strange stuff going on here. Let me reset the program. You don't know anything about ham radio, can you explain it? That's pretty broad, but we'll see how this goes. So, ham radio started out as a way to advance the science of pretty much radio frequencies, anything radio. So, the best way I can describe ham radio is just practicing the art of long distance or short distance RF communication without relying on an existing infrastructure. Well, I can't even say that because there's infrastructure for ham radio. It's pretty much, I don't even know how to say it. It's like a non-commercial cell phone system. I mean, so you can communicate with people over RF around the world with your own equipment, and that's not relying on any existing infrastructure. You can literally string up an antenna and a radio and talk around the world. And you can do it on maybe hundreds of dollars if you get a cheaper system. So the reason that you might want to use ham radio is, well, there's a few variety of reasons. So one, the existing infrastructure goes down. So your cell phones go down, maybe there's a natural disaster, an electromagnetic pulse, which some people say that would knock out ham radios, but if you have a Faraday cage, then it'll be just fine. So you would still have radio communication in the event of a disaster that would wipe out cell phone systems and that type of thing, which brings over also emergency communication. Because say there was a really bad storm like you see on some of the islands with the hurricanes, and the cell phone towers are knocked out, then the only thing that's going to be able to communicate is pretty much a ham radio. Yeah, it's pretty much off grid. Now, everybody has ham radio for a different reason. I don't practice ham radio for off the grid communications. I don't do it for emergency communications. I purely do it to advance my skill set in my military job, and because I like to tinker with things. Those are the big two, and I think those are the big two that get a lot of people don't consider into the hobby. The big thing is tinkerers. You have some people with a special personality that they like to have hobbies. They like to tinker with things and build things in that type. I'm that type of person. So if you can tell me that I can build an antenna and talk to somebody in China without any other existing system, that's gonna kind of catch my eye. I'm gonna look into it. Not everybody has that trait, but the people that do like to get into ham radio, and it may carry over to like disaster relief efforts or off the grid communications and that type of thing. Can ham radio comms be encrypted? Not legally. So there exists certain protocols or methods of communication, like digital communication, like say, for example, the Yaesu C4FM or DMR, which is not analog, so any type of system can't just listen in on it and decode it. It has to be a system with a specified decoding algorithm. So in that sense, I mean, kinda, like those are kind of encrypted, but I think what makes a difference is the software is open source. Somewhere, somebody can be able to download that and listen to what's going on. And that's on the ham radio side. Now, let's see. Am I in SIGINT? How can I get started with ham radio? I'm a total noob and you have intrigued me. So, hello, Mountains Adventure. The best way that I would say to get in ham radio, and I might get some hate for other people in the chat for this, but there are now Chinese radios that exist called Baofeng radios that are between $20 to $50, just depending on what model, and they have the ability to transmit on the 2-meter and 70-seater ham frequencies, which are pretty much local communications. But hams have an existing infrastructure that allows them to communicate long distance over local comms via repeater towers. So, for example, I'm in Kentucky, I'm in eastern Kentucky, and there's a nearby mountain near me that has a repeater tower on it. So when I transmit with my $30 Baofeng radio, it shoots up to that tower, which is on top of a mountain, and that thing, the coverage is almost half of my state. Like, it is powerful and it is high. So it almost covers half my state, and I can talk to that to other people around that area with a $30 radio. So that's the best way to get into it. Now, if you're like me, like I said, I like to tinker, so I like to get into the more technical parts of the hobby. The cooler things you can do with ham radio is set up internet linking systems. So even with a technician license, which is level 1, which is where you can use that Baofeng radio, there's ways that you can wire that Baofeng radio up into computers and use them as modems to talk to each other. So, for example, if I have 2 Baofeng radios connected to 2 different computers, I could have them maybe a few miles apart, and they would be able to communicate with each other and send each other messages and internet web pages and stuff like that, literally just over RF. No internet required. So there also exists a a system called APRS, or the Automatic Packet Reporting System, which is a digital ham radio that you can also use with those $30 radios. And that allows you to send text messages, emails, back and forth between computers and radios. And all, I mean, the whole just goes really deep. There's all types of capability that you can use with a ham radio for. But the hole gets deeper the more you dig. It's one of those deals, and you can go. There's all types of subcategories and sub hobbies and different aspects of ham radio that people get into, and there's just way too much to explain, really. Does the military use ham radios? Yeah, you can talk on ham radios, you can text on ham radios, and you can use Morse code on ham radios. And does the military use ham radios? They don't use ham radios, but they use radios that operate around those frequencies. So, I mean, technically, they're called HF radios. So a ham radio is a HF radio, and the military also uses HF radios. But those two aren't the same thing, because a ham radio is really designated for the ham part of the radio spectrum, and military radios typically cover all of it. I think ad hoc is it's a local wireless protocol, if I'm not mistaken. I think it operates in the much higher frequencies. If I could be wrong here, but it's more like a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth compared to ham radio being the data rate being much more restricted. I could be totally off there, but I would definitely Google that question, because I don't want to just tell you something wrong. So, interesting fact, the military does use ham radio, and that kind of comes back to, you asked why use ham radio. So I guess one of the better way to explain that is say why the military uses ham radio. So when we're out, say on a deployment, and there's not infrastructure there to communicate with each other, there's always HF radio that is going to be at least semi-reliable to communicate with each other, even though there's no cell towers or anything like that. Another fact here is the military can use encrypted communication between those HF radios. So when they're talking to each other, they're not going to expose vital information to the enemy, which can intercept cell signal and all those other things and decrypt them at some point, or those governments can. Ham radio is truly the only system that can be used for communication. Not ham radio, but HF communication is the only thing that can be sent over and encrypted and not decrypted by somebody else without having those decryption keys, if that makes sense. Can a repeater send a signal to another repeater, like a local repeater sending it TX to California? Yes. So there is systems called All-Star and IRLP, and there's a few others. Echolink. I think those all three link internet through repeaters. So not only can you link internet, so those repeaters can connect to special chat rooms on the internet, and they all be linked together. So if somebody's saying something on one repeater, it'll go through the repeater, echo out over the local area, also send over the internet to a different repeater that might be connected to the same room, and it would broadcast over that area too. But there are also there's also linking repeaters. I'm not quite sure fundamentally how those work, but basically, as long as the repeaters are in range of each other, they can rebroadcast voice. And I think we have one here in Kentucky that consists of 4 or 5 different repeaters all linked up together. But yeah, you can link repeaters up like that. I'm using let's try to make some context here too. I'm using an in-fed half-wave, 63 foot. I live in an apartment, so the only way, let's see what the radio is doing here. The only way I was able to get a HF antenna up was something sneaky, and so the infed half wave was a good choice because I'm able to string it from my balcony into a nearby tree in the yard, and nobody's ever said anything. I don't as far as I know, I don't interfere with anybody's devices. So I've had that up for about a year now, but I've been into ham radio for, that's been about 3 years, I think, 2 or 3, at least 2 years, maybe coming up on 3. It's not like a super long time, but I was kind of, what got me into ham radio itself was the military. So in the military, I'm a communications guy, pretty much all things communications. And we have like special training every once in a while. And so some guys came down from our state capital and trained us on HF radio communications. And these guys were also hams on the civilian side. And I heard them talk about like being able to hook up to fences and gutters and mattress springs and like using all these makeshift antennas and talk around the world. And it kind of captured me, and I was like, so you can connect a radio to a gutter and like talk to people in Germany, like that's cool. So I started to study into it, and look what it took to get my technician license, and saw that it was, you know, relatively easy. So I did that, and then I got my first 2-meter radio. I'm not a big fan of voice communication, so I didn't do much talking over the radio, but I was immediately captured by packet and digital communication. The capabilities of that are, I mean, there's like endless things that you can tinker with and do there, from setting up sound card modems and APRS, like I was talking about before. There's just so much that you can do, even on your first level ham radio license. And so I stuck there for a while, and then I learned that HF can go around the world, and you can do stuff like what I'm doing here. Like, I mean, you see these, all these are things that I've heard. All these are radio packets I've heard. And I can do this without talking. That's the big thing for me. I don't really, ham radio is kind of funny with talking. It's not for everybody. I'm just kind of off put by the idea of keying up the mic and talking about nothing for however long. I just haven't learned how to do it, maybe. But the fact that I can get on here and chase awards, which is what's driving me now, I can get awards and certificates for proving that I've contacted this many states or this many continents and stuff like that, really is what's driving me right now. Because I take that and I learn that skill here, and then when I go to the military side, I can tell them, you know, it's kind of cool. I can tell them that you can contact and show them how to set up their antennas more properly and this and that type of thing. So for me, the thing that I studied was, I went straight into the ham exam. So there's really 3 levels. There's technician, general, and then extra. And the way the FCC does it is they have a special, there we go. They have a special test for each of these 3 levels, and they have a specific question pool that's public. So there's a website called hamstudy.org, and those guys are great for this. But they have all the test questions there. They have all the, it's all multiple choice. And you can go through and see exactly what questions are on the test, and you can filter them out by different sections and just take practice tests over and over again. It'll take your wrong answers and put them into a different pool where you can only review the wrong answers. And there's a mode where you just go through the questions and see the right answers over and over again. For me, that was the easiest way to study for the ham exam. I know a lot of people broke open a book and read the books and that type of thing. I just studied for the test. I just learned the questions and the answers, and maybe I'm lazy. That was just the easiest way that I could learn. And it took me about a couple weeks to study for it. And it probably took a week for my next level. But that's pretty much how I did it. So Grid Tracker is a program that yes, it is tied to WS IJ WSJTX, and it integrates into it, and all these yellow squares are stations I've heard. The striped ones, I think, are ones that I've got confirmed contacts, and that red line pretty much indicates that I am calling that station right now. So it just kind of puts everything in perspective here. You can clear all of them. I think you. And this is. I think it goes by your sessions. Like on my laptop, I do a lot more FT8. I only do FT8 on my computer while I'm streaming. But on there, like, everything's filled up with grid squares. I'm not getting anybody. I'm not getting this guy. So yeah, it just integrates with it and shows you visually where you're contacting. So I think it's a really cool to see, because I mean, I can look it up on QRZ, all the call signs, but that doesn't tell me exactly where it's coming from, because I'm not geographically inclined like that. So digital repeater on the ISS. I did a packet. I did an APRS packet over the ISS a few weeks ago on its Digipeater. I'll see if I can pull up the image of that. So this is on my Instagram. I put it up on here. I thought I had a better picture, but yeah. So this is a packet I received, but there's an image somewhere, maybe on my Twitter, where I got like the proof of a two-way contact. But I've never done the voice repeater on the ISS. Usually when the ISS goes over, I'm trying to... There's like 3 things you can listen to, and you only get like 15 minutes every so many days. So you can either do packet communication, you can do the voice repeater, or you can get your chance at trying to talk to one of the astronauts. And usually I spend it trying to talk to one of the astronauts, because that's one of my biggest goals, is to be able to call an astronaut over ham radio. So does HF, but Macbeth, I will eventually do a video on the ISS. The communication that takes the arrow, sometimes the cameras, it's like so difficult to set up in time, and a lot of times when I set it up, like, something goes wrong. But I've been meaning to get a good video of communication over the ISS. Whether it be, at one time I'll at least do voice and in packet, and hopefully one day you'll hear me talking to an astronaut. And I'm gonna post this clip of the video when I do. So does HF affect your health or interfere with other wireless devices? With not the proper grounding, it's like equipment, you can potentially interfere with other devices. A good operator knows the best practices and knows the exposure limits and how far the antenna needs to be away from different devices. As for health, RF radiation... Oh, somebody's calling me. My bad. As for on human health, RF radiation is non-ionizing, which means it doesn't cause cancer. However, it can heat up human body tissue. So, exposed to enough of it, it can heat things up. But it's, with the FCC, the way it designates the power limits, it would be hard to harm yourself like that. You would almost be trying to do it. Unless you stuck your finger in the antenna port and then transmitted on a high frequency, you might burn your finger or something. But other than that, it's pretty safe. I'm thinking, hey Robert, just subscribed to your channel, saw the review of the FT8. I'm thinking about getting HT. Yeah, welcome to the channel. That video was received pretty well, so I'm glad you're here. The FT3D has been a good radio for me. I've liked it quite a bit, and it really depends on your uses. with any HT. Everybody talks about one HT being better than the other, or one brand. I think it really just depends on how you're going to be using it. For me, I wasn't sure about the touchscreen before, but I've gotten used to it, and it's been a good little radio. It's been a good little radio. I like it quite a bit. If you don't mind the touchscreen, I definitely recommend checking it out. Alright, I'm all set up, and I think I heard you find me. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah, this stream's a little bit delayed, and I'm still slowly going through the chat, so it might take me a second, but November 000 Charlie, I'll be looking out for your call sign now. I might have to pull my window down some to see. Let me finish this QSO with this individual here. Is the Arrow the most used antenna for AM sat work? As far as I know, it's one of the. There's two commercially made antennas for sat work, and I think that's the Elk and the Arrow. I think the Arrow takes the cake because it has dual band, but I know a lot of people make their own. I've seen a lot of Facebook, like on Facebook, on the AMSAT group, I see a lot of people make their own out of tape measure and all types of resources. But I do think it is the most used. I've got one here behind me. Had I known now then, I would have probably made my own. It is, I think they're at $100, and but you know, you live and you learn. I see your call sign. Let's see if I can get to you. So you're right next door here. What are you, in Missouri? We'll see if you can hear me. You might be too close, but we'll find out. Can you talk to astronaut? So the astronauts on the ISS have a ham radio on board that they can use to talk to people on Earth. They're very busy, obviously, doing astronaut stuff, so they don't sit on it, but they occasionally get on it and make contacts with people over ham radio. They have their own call sign, and it's kind of random. Sometimes they schedule contacts, but it's usually with schools to talk to children, so children can ask astronaut questions over ham radio, and it's kind of a cool factor. But other than that, sometimes when they get up in the morning or sometimes in the evenings, if they feel so inclined, they'll jump on the ham radio and make contacts with everyday operators. And there we go. It looks like we got a contact. So, and I'm mailing all my QSL cards out tomorrow. So I'll make sure to throw you in there too. You don't have to send me one back, but I figure since I got them, I might as well mail them out. Let's see. Just catching up here. Okay. 18 viewers going strong. I know a lot of people is drifting into the channel here, so welcome to the stream. If you're new here, I do this every Sunday at 7. And it looks like we definitely have some new people that ham radio in here, so that's really exciting. I'm glad to see that. And I'm glad that some people are getting some interest in it. I do recommend, if you want to see some of the cool things you can do, I have a few videos on my channel. Ones that I recommend checking out is the SSTV image from the ISS and decoding weather satellite images with the Baofeng. Both of those are with the Baofeng because it's entry level, it's $30. And that's the big two. Those are really cool. I think those are really cool videos. Yeah, thanks for the contact. I'm always glad to make contacts to my viewers. It's really fun. So if anybody, like I say, if anybody wants to make a contact, I'm on FT8. I can do 40 or 20 meters. So don't be afraid to shout out your call sign and let me know what band, and we'll try to work out a contact. Let's see. But yeah, I really appreciate all the questions. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Kaif I'm just gonna butcher it. Thank you for the questions, though. Those are some really good questions. I'm glad you're here to ask them. I give up on him. Let's try this one. Now, radio's doing something funky now. Can we communicate with satellites as well with hams? Yes. Yep. I guess I have some satellite communication videos up. There's actually, I made one of my popular videos is the ultimate guide to ham radio satellite communication, and that pretty much covers everything about communicating over satellite with a ham. But I've also done, just to show you what's possible. That's the big thing. People don't know what's possible with ham radio. They think ham radio, and it's like, it's pretty modern. But, for example, this video right here, if you've seen on my channel, making contacts on satellite SO50 with a Baofeng F8 HP, this is one of my earlier videos, but I think I had a $30 Baofeng with just a whip antenna, which is about 15 bucks. I threw it on there, and I made 3 contacts in the video, just standing there with a radio, and that's over a satellite, over thousands of miles. So yeah, there's some cool stuff you can do there. I'm gonna have to give the radio a break. It's getting a little hot. Oh, I better reply though. Let's see. My SWR is creeping up some, so I'm gonna try to complete this contact and then let the radio cool. So the disadvantage of having in-fed half-wave is the shielding sometimes brings RF back in, and that puts a lot of and it also puts a lot of strain on the ferrite core. I don't think I'm going to be able to complete this contact. It puts a lot of pretty much strain on the ferrite core to absorb some of that stray RF. So what happens with my antenna is, after a while transmitting high power, it starts to get really hot and actually starts to warp the SWR of my antenna. So then I have to kind of let it cool down some. All of that's outside. Kind of funny. I'm not going to be able to complete this contact. I'm going to have to let my radio cool down for a minute. Can technicians... Oh gosh, I didn't know so many people are chatting. Yeah, Sundays every Sunday at 7 o'clock I'll be streaming, and we'll be doing some chatting, and sometimes we'll swap out modes. Sometimes we'll have FT8, voice, PSK31, SSTV. So I try to do a little bit of every. Man, I'm gonna push it and see if I can't finish this contact. Because he really wants to work me. How do you do 20 and 40 with your in-fed auto tuner? Yes, I use a built-in tuner on the FT450, but also I think there's like a harmonic thing that goes on there that kind of allows those to be on the same. Shoot, you're making me get too technical. I think they're harmonics of each other, right? 7, 14. So one is maybe like a half wave, and then one's a fourth wave. I could be totally off by the way I'm describing it. I'm sure somebody watching will be able to describe that better than I just did. But okay, completed the contact with him. So I'm gonna let my antenna outside cool down my my balun. Because otherwise, I'm going to explode the ferrite core, or melt my wires, either one. So let me make sure this is disabled here. Can technicians use FT8 on 40 meters? No. No? So the technician license privilege, I think you only get access to, I think it's 10 meters for HF. Yes. Oh, actually, This guide says you might be able to use Morse on 80, 40, and 15, which is CW. So there's that, but you can use FT8 on 10, 6, and 2 meters and 70 centimeters. And actually, I think the longest recorded, or the first transatlantic FT8 contact was made on 70 centimeters about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was hundreds of miles. So, can't use the HF, you can't use 40 meters of FT8, but don't underestimate how far you can get out on 70 centimeters and 2 meters too with the right band conditions. Do you have a counterpoise on the antenna? I do have a counterpoise on the antenna, but being on the second floor apartment, it's hard to get a good ground. I just kind of got it laying across the deck there. There's probably a better system for it. Yeah, I need to turn my power down when I'm running digital. I do need to do that. It is hard because the antenna is so close to the ground. If I have the power low, really I'm just burning the clouds, so it's really inefficient. But sometimes I have to get the power up there to make some contacts. Most people I talk to have zero understanding of what is possible with this hobby. There's a lot, and my main focus is trying to get a good grasp of everything about it, all the technical stuff, because that's really what I'm into. So yeah, Homestead 80, 40, 20, and 10 are harmonics. Yeah, I guess that helps the tuning. It doesn't have to work as hard. So what radio are you using for FT8ing right now? I'm using the FT450D, the Yaesu. Good evening. Hey Brad, welcome to the stream. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Crazy Eights. I don't have my volume turned up, so I haven't been able to hear the alert sound, so I better turn that up. But yeah, welcome to the stream. We're about an hour and 10 minutes in, so it's going pretty well. 16 viewers, and I see a lot of new people in the chat, a lot of new people in the stream, so I'm really excited about that. I really hope that you join me next week when I do the stream as well at 7. I'm still thinking about... I want to have a system to the streams so people know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm still not quite sure where I'm going to land. But I do think I'm going to do an SSTV stream next week. So all you new people here, that's a really interesting thing to see with ham radio, because we'll be transmitting and receiving images over ham radio. So that's really fun to watch, and it's really fun to do. And you can transmit and receive images from the other side of the world over HF radio. So that's really fun to do. Let's see here. I'll turn down the power. We'll go down. Here we go. I should be alright here. Looks like Florida is what we're calling. I try my best. to offer information, but I know there's a lot more people that are more technically inclined in the chat to be able to help out with some of the stuff. But when it comes to the broad, what can you do with ham radio, I've pretty much tried a little of everything. So yeah, we're going down to 40 watts. Still, that's pretty high for digital. Ham radio essentials. Well, Florida's not hearing me, or they're not wanting to reply, either one. But we'll give them one more time to see if they don't hear me. I do have it propped up. To be honest with you, I don't know anything about the Bermuda Triangle. I remember reading books when I was in school about stuff disappearing there and different stuff throwing off radar systems. But other than that, it's kind of spooky, I guess. It's kind of an interesting topic, but I haven't looked too much into it. I saw that there is an updated version of SSTV software. I haven't updated mine yet. Yeah, I haven't opened my SSTV software since I did the last stream, so I'm not quite sure of what they might have changed, but I guess it's worth updating. You never know; it could be something that was very vital, something to clear up some images, or man, what is going on here? Yeah, my let's check the reception reports and see what we're doing like now. Yeah, see you next Sunday, Robert. Thanks for tuning into the stream. We do videos, or I do videos every Monday and Friday too. So tomorrow's just going to be a channel update for my subscribers. It's not going to be anything special, just pretty much what I announced earlier. So I know there's a lot of new people in the chat, so from the start of the stream, so I'll go ahead and announce this one more time. I have 6 easy digis here that I just got in, and at 5,000 subscribers I will be giving away 5 of them, and probably in the next week you're going to see a video on the channel about like an in-depth assembly guide. And so once I hit 5,000 subscribers on stream, I'm going to be giving away 5 of them. It's not much, but I don't have much, so I try to recycle the YouTube ad money that I get back into my YouTube channel. It's not much, maybe like $50 to $100 a month, not counting if I get any donations from streams. But I like to take that and cycle it back into the channel somehow. But so I got 5 of those, and they'll be going out to people once I hit 5K subs, hopefully in the next month and a half or so. And yeah, we're doing that. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty much on. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, I hit 4,000 subscribers this morning. So after I've started kind of grinding the YouTube a little bit more, started picking up some traction. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm having fun doing it. So it's fun to look back too and see my journey as I've learned new things over ham radio, and I try to talk about it. It's fun to look back on those videos and see how far I've came, even in just the past year or so. Easy Digi. So Easy Digi, and I'm sure, like always, Off-Grid Texas Homestead is going to be able to explain this a little better than I can. But it is a interface that goes between your computer and your radio for ham radio digital modes that will pretty much strip the AC current from coming through, which in turn takes away the hum that might be on your signal, making it a little more clear. It's a good piece of it's a good component to have in your line there to make your audio levels going back and forth a little clearer and prevent ground loops. So yeah, they're made by an individual named Clifford. I forget his call sign, but I think it's written on one of these. Kilo Foxtrot 5 India November Zulu. But he sells them like this right here, and you just assemble the thing and solder your wires on, and you're good to go. It's a good little component to have for digital modes. What can we do with these? I think I just answered that, but it was a little delayed. Yeah, it's a cool little device. Just cleans your audio signal up, going back and forth, and keeps everything nice and clean. You log that QSO here. But yeah, it's not much, but I'll give out 5 of them. I think that's better than, last year I did a Baofeng giveaway and just gave out a random Baofeng. But I think it's nice to get more people into digital too. And the big thing that I think is cool is get people into like building their own components. I've got my general. I got my general, or maybe you might be talking to somebody else in chat. But I got my general last year sometime. I think I missed somebody in chat though. But yeah, a lot of capabilities of ham radio that don't get publicized and they don't get talked about a lot. In movies, whenever you see a ham radio, it's some like old dude with like stuck up in the mountains somewhere, and there's post-apocalyptic, and he connects it to a car battery and saves some people or something like that. But there's a lot more depth and technology to it than that. I mean, it is good off-grid communication, but they don't show you the all the cool little digital modes and the fun stuff like that. So I like to shine some light on that. But ham radio is one of those things, like, it's hard to take it and show it to a mass audience and people be interested. You have to capture their imaginations and it's an interesting hobby, but it's really fun, and I think if more people knew the capabilities of it, more people would be interested in it. Am I an IT grad or electronics grad? I am not. I'm actually a dropout right now. I went for computer science, and I went for 2 years, and I didn't like the pace it was going. It was slow, it was boring, and I dropped out. Unfortunately, I really wish I would have finished my degree, and I enlisted in the National Guard. So I was away for about 7 or 8 months training for that. Came back with the intent on finishing school, but I just haven't made it there yet. Oh, my bad. I wasn't paying attention here. So he was just calling DX. I've never seen somebody do that before with the custom message, but I'm interested to see what else pops up here. So if you're new, what just happened here was there was somebody calling DX, and DX is like, not from here, not from the United States, and I accidentally replied to him, and then he wrote a custom message back that said, please DX, please. So my bad. Let's pay more attention to the call signs here. Yeah, thanks. Best of luck to you too, and you're more than welcome to join the stream back here on Sunday at 7 o'clock. And if you like, I post videos Monday and Friday. Keep me updated on your progress if you look at pursuing this. If you have any questions, comment on the videos. I try to reply to those. If there's good questions, I try to answer them. So yeah, let me know if you need any help on your journey, or if you need help studying, or need any tips. Once you get into it, it's a lot easier, and another world opens up for you into the world of ham radio. But it's about an hour and 20 minutes. I've really got to use the bathroom. I think I might call it tonight. I'm not feeling so well either. I ate White Castle earlier, and it's starting to hit me. But thank everybody for watching. I know I usually at least go to an hour and a half, but I'm just kind of feeling a little rough tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching and all the support, and really thanks for all the viewers that came out to watch. I love doing these live streams with everybody and talking with my subscribers and interacting with people and just getting a better idea of what they think about the channel. So I really appreciate everybody here, and I hope to see everybody here next Sunday at 7 o'clock. We're going to do SSTV, so we'll be sending and receiving images back and forth. So that's really fun to watch. And that's pretty much it. 73 to everybody. Look out for my video tomorrow. It's just a quick channel update. I'll be announcing the same stuff I did before. And thank you for that tip. I might make a video a little bit more broad, trying to target and see if I can get people to the transition between not knowing what ham radio is and then, well, somebody's calling me. I'll reply to this call sign because I know it has to be one of you that's calling me specifically. But I'll try to finish this contact here. And thanks everybody for watching. And 73 to you. I'll see you all next weekend.